My name is Kim Sheard. I'm doing a show called Divinely Bette, and I'm having tea with Wilma. Well, as you'll be able to tell soon if you haven't already, I have an accent. I am Canadian, and I came over here to train, and I think the show has been a long time coming. It's something that it's something that has been in my in the back of my mind for quite some time, because I've had the comparison to her for years and years and years. I used to get comments on my dance competition sheets saying that I reminded them of the Divine Miss M, and as like a 12-year-old, you don't really like that comparison, because really you don't want to be compared to a 30 or 40-year-old woman when you're 12. So I really, really hated it for the first while, and then as I've matured, I thought about it a bit more and kind of went, she would be a fantastic person to be. Like, she's had an amazing career, and if I could have even a fraction of her career, that would be a pretty fulfilling, life. And so I was singing one of her songs for a friend of mine who simply said, you should do this. You should do this as a show. And terrified the heck out of me. But I decided to do it, and I set myself a target. I said, okay, well, if I'm going to do it, I have to have a deadline, something I'm working towards. And that was the Brighton Fringe. So I started working on it in about October of last year, and the Brighton Fringe was in May. So those were my first shows. And it's now beginning of August, and here I am doing Camden as well. And when I first started, I had absolutely no idea if I was even going to take it any further than just doing Brighton. But I've really enjoyed the process of creating it. I've really enjoyed the process of developing it, and of course I've enjoyed the performing. I almost purposely disliked her when I was younger. And so it's again that as I've sort of been exposed to more of her material and grown in understanding in myself, as we all do from the time that we're 12 and everything revolves around us. And yeah, I think I now really appreciate what she's managed to bring to her performing and to her to her fans in a way. She broke so many molds as a performer and as a comedian and as the style of performer that she is. And I think that there are so many people out there that love her for that. She's not afraid of anything, really. She is bonkers, don't get me mad. She is absolutely, don't get me mad, don't get me wrong, she's absolutely mad. But that's part of the fun of her. And she's a larger-than-life kind of person who portrays larger-than-life people. Well, the show is modelled on one of her actual live performances. So it's a variety of songs and comedy, all sort of wrapped up into just under an hour length. At the moment for Camden, I have 12 of her songs and a number of chunks of her comedy. We have some soap. We also have a very good mention of tits, and yeah, I think I hope that I've managed to touch on all of the things that she loves and dwells on quite regularly in many of her live shows. So hopefully that lightness and that that sort of feeling that she can create in her live performances, more so than her movies, because obviously then she's being a character and all of this, but her live performances are so energetic, and she never stops, and there's just so much that she gives. She is quite an audacious personality, and hopefully I bring a bit of that as well. Highly organized, slightly pedantic, if anyone can ever be slightly pedantic. I would like to think that I'm up for a challenge. That's definitely what this has been for me, is a challenge. And I like putting myself in new experiences. I would like to think of myself as approachable, and yeah, I think that one of the things that I would like to have more in my personality, that I'm trying to take from Bette, is her fearlessness and that utter abandon that she puts into absolutely everything she does. I think that's a very admirable trait, and I want more of that in my life. Aside from making funny noises, as most singers do, I think the only thing that I really sort of focus on doing is the point that my shoes go on. The point that my shoes go on is the point that I really try and step into her. Just because it really, like, anytime you put on a pair of high-heeled shoes, it changes the way you stand, it changes the way you walk, and it changes the general deportment. And so when I put on my show shoes, I use that as the way that I get into her character. Because unlike her, I am fairly tall, and therefore a lot of her movements have to be created through things like wearing the high heels to make me take smaller steps and change the way that I walk and all of this sort of stuff, and it's so much easier to do in heels than it is just by myself. I am a fan of her comedy songs. I love the ones that are a bit bawdy, a bit unexpected, and which make you giggle. The one that most people will know is Auto Titsling, which was in Beaches, and I just think that's such a brilliant premise for a song. So that's the style of her songs that I like best. Well, I've been kicked in the face on stage before. Does that count? During a dance performance, and we basically did a move where our bodies went down as our legs went up, and the person in front of me was too close, and as his leg went up, it went straight into my face coming down. So it had the double impact of both moving down and up with his kick. And yeah, that was a bit of a moment. Yeah, I think, getting kicked in the face is probably the worst of it. I had a bunch of them come see the show in Brighton. I obviously don't know if every Bette Midler fan in the UK knows about the show. I'm doing my best to tell them, but if they don't know already, find out about it and come see me. But she's got a lot of fans worldwide, and I think that she's done a very good job of not only cultivating those fans, but also keeping them. They love her. They absolutely, adore her. In one of her more recent shows, she starts telling a joke and then sort of stops and says, I've been telling this joke for 40 years, and everyone starts whooping, and she says, no, that's not the point. You've been laughing at it for 40 years. If that's not unconditional love, I don't know what is. And that's so true, that, she's got these shticks, these things that she does, and they're just so loved that it doesn't matter if she's doing the same thing over and over again. They just love her and love it. I love Hocus Pocus. I don't know how you could not, really. The combination of those three ladies is just so amusing. I think For the Boys is a bit underrated as well. She covers like 60 years in the lifespan of that character, and so I appreciate how hard she worked in that film as well. I think those are my two favourites at the moment. It shifts every now and again. The last show I saw was Wicked, for the umpteenth time. I went with a group of kids that are doing a theatre camp, and as always they were mesmerised by what Wicked had to offer. Well, it's touring, but I always really enjoyed Hairspray when it was here. It's such a fun musical that can't hurt by having it in town. Many from Avenue Q are quite up there. I was obsessed with My Fair Lady when I was younger. I absolutely loved that musical. I'm a bit of a sucker for Julie Andrews, I have to admit. I like a bit of Julie Andrews. And there are so many brilliant songs out there these days that it's too hard to pick just one. The show is on upstairs at the Gatehouse, which is in Highgate, and tickets are available on their website, which I believe is upstairs at the gatehouse.com, and also on the Camden Fringe website as well, or by calling the upstairs at the Gatehouse box office. It starts on the 6th of August and goes until the 11th, so that's this coming Monday through to Saturday. And the performances are either at 7:30 or 9 o'clock each night. You can check my website or their websites for details. My website is www.divinelybette.com. It's got all the stuff about the show. It's got some clips and some pictures on it. So if anyone's interested in more information, that's a good place to start.